Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Looks like we have a pretty good amount of attendees right now. So hi, again, my name is Cooley. I'm the Targeted Outreach Director for the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. We are hosting today our Veterans Day resource webinar. We have a really great lineup with panelists from the Veterans of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Wars, the Volunteers of America, Northern California, Northern Nevada, the California Department of Veteran Affairs, also known as CalVet, and the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs National Cemetery Administration. So let's go ahead and get started. For our agenda today, at the very beginning, I'm just going to do a quick overview of who the Department of Financial Protection Innovation, also known as the DFPI, who we are, our focus on financial education, and a real quick brief overview of some state job opportunities for veterans. Then we're going to talk about the VFW and how they help veterans, a couple of different services they offer, opportunities they have. And that'll be with Martin Yingling with the VFW. And then we will have Julie with the Volunteers of America going over veteran services, housing and employment services. And then we have Alyssa from CalVet, who's going to be going over the California Transition Assistance Program, also known as CalTEP. And then we have Jennifer from the VA National Cemetery Administration, who is going to be going over some information on veterans burial services. And at the very end, we will have we'll dedicate about 10 minutes to any kind of questions and that you might have entered into the chat. I know we had a couple of questions that were submitted before the program started, so I'm going to go ahead and try to address as many of those as I can. Okay, with that, let's get started. So the DFPI, the Department of Financial Protection, licenses and regulates, oversees financial services providers who are doing business in the state of California. A lot of these are like state chartered banks, credit unions, financial institutions, brokers, investment advisors, franchisees. There's a whole list of them on our website. Our role here at the DFPI is to enforce state financial laws, determine if financial services products or professional licensures or registration is required, especially with the new passage of the California Consumer Financial Protection Law. There's a lot of new, obviously innovative financial products out there, and it's kind of fallen under our purview. And then we also examine licensees to ensure compliance, as well as we intake and investigate consumer complaints about any kind of financial issues. We also register certain securities offered to California investors, but my office is mostly focused on providing financial education and resources and promoting financial literacy to consumers, businesses, and industries. A little more about promoting financial literacy. We have a very broad range of free financial resources available on our website. We also have it in paper form, hard copy. So one of our most popular products is our Protect Yourself from Fraud booklet. We also have consumer brochures and a lot of other print materials talking about the various different financial products out there. And it's all to promote financial literacy, financial education. You could download a lot of these booklets, the digital version from our website. There's a link right there, dfpi.ca.gov/outreach. And then you can also, one of the great things we provide is we have a call center, which you would call in. And before you want to do any banking or you select a mortgage lender, or even want to do any kind of financial business like transmitting money, you could call us at our call center so we could verify the license of the business and see if there's any kind of enforcement actions that are currently pending against them. Another thing we do is we promote consumer awareness. We have a lot of consumer alerts, news, and advisories that we publish on our website. And one of the great ways to stay informed about this is to subscribe to our monthly e-newsletter known as the DFPI Consumer Connection. On the next slide, we have all the different ways you could contact us. Again, there's our phone number. We have our website. We're all on social media, very, very active. Please like our Facebook, subscribe to our Facebook, jump on Twitter, join us on LinkedIn. And also there is a link right there where you could sign up for our e-newsletter. And that way it's a monthly newsletter. It's got a lot of really great information, things that we're doing at the DFPI, as well as, consumer awareness, little articles that we like to share. And with that, I do want to go do a brief overview of some career opportunities with the state of California. Our CalHR rep was not able to make it today, so I'm just going to briefly go over her slides. I'm going to shamelessly plug the DFPI. We have a lot of really great career opportunities here at the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. There is a link right there, dfpi.ca.gov/careers. It'll take you to our careers page. It has a whole list of really fantastic opportunities if you want to join our team. There's also a lot of great state opportunities if you want to go to CalHR's website, jobs.ca.gov. It's a jobs portal. It's got lots of jobs posted around the state of California. You could filter out, based on location and type of work you're looking for. I'm not going to go through all the different benefits of working with the state of California, but you could see right there, there's a lot of really great benefits that are there, including student loan forgiveness through the U.S. Department of Education. Okay. If you are a veteran, you do have the chance to get veterans preference points. I think it's 5 additional points, so long as you are eligible. And so long as you pass a score on any entrance exam, it takes you all the way to the top of the list. So there's some more information there, including a link to get some more information on veterans preference. And finally, I just want to highlight one really great program that CalHR has actually throughout the state of California. At every department, we have a LEAP program, also known as Limited Examination and Appointment Program, designed to help persons with disabilities to get hired into state service. It's an alternative to traditional testing process, and its candidates must be certified by the Department of Rehabilitation. There's a link right there. I have a lot of friends. I have a few friends at the California Department of Rehabilitation. They're fantastic. They help you as much as they can to not just get qualified, but also get into state service. And with that, I want to say thank you for your service. I am a veteran myself, and for all of the veterans out there, I want to say, Happy Veterans Day tomorrow, and thank you for your service. And with that, I am going to pass it off to Martin Yingling, who is the State Senior Vice Commander of the Veteran of Foreign Wars. Go ahead, Martin.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
I could hear you, Martin. Go ahead.
All right. My name is Martin Yingling. I'm the State Senior Vice Commander for the VFW here in California. This morning, I'm going to talk about a few of our programs that are, if you could bring the slide up, please, that assist veterans in time of financial need. Our very first and most coveted one is our VFW National Home for Families. It's in Eaton Rapids, Michigan, and this is a separate nonprofit foundation that sponsors families for transition from the military to civilian life that are having a very hard time. We have approximately 28 buildings, houses. California currently sponsors 2 of them. They're complete homes in which a veteran can go online, apply for the apply for the assistance. They are transitioned or assisted in moving to Michigan, and they live in the home until counseling can be provided, job opportunities can be discussed, education can be done. Their children can attend school. Some of the schools are on campus. It's a huge campus. Others, high school is off campus. They're financially assisted throughout the time. They're assisted with food, clothing, the whole 9 yards in transition to civilian life. As you know, some of our veterans have a hard time transitioning from military service to civilian life, and it's very, very hard for some of them to financially do it. This opportunity can be, if you would like, vfw.org is the place where they would go and sign up. And this is something that any veteran can use. They do not have to be a VFW member. This is for any veteran. And we currently, I think, have 7 houses filled. And there are plenty more that if you know of a family that can use the help and assistance for job counseling, marital counseling, child counseling, the entire complex is available for them to enjoy. The next, please. VFW National Unmet Needs grants. These grants are for families that may these are non anything that VFW does. We do not ask for repayment. These are grants. I just finished a fundraising effort in California for this program at National. The state of California raised $10,000 to assist in this program throughout our nation. This program is always underfunded, but always well used by our military veterans and their families. Now these grants are looked at. They're given to the families, and hopefully this will get them on track for the rest of their lives, and help them transition through a very bad patch in their life. So this is just one other financial assistance program we have within the VFW. Next, please. Help a Hero Scholarship. Now, all of us know that post 9/11 GI Bill covers 3 years of continuous college. Most of the time, after my 30 years in the military, I would talk to my CBs and tell them, go to school while you're on active duty and use the TAP process, Transition Assistance Program, and get your bachelor's degree. Use the 3 years of your post 9/11 to get your master's. Not a lot of them are done when they're finished, but the program for post 9/11 was only set up to get you to a bachelor's program. A lot of our young military would move as far as PhDs. So the program here, they can request on a yearly basis, and 1 per family per semester. And we can use at the end of the semester for a veteran who's applying. Scholarships are restriction for tuition and fees only. The thing about this is the Help a Hero Scholarship is partnered with Sports Clips. And that is a nationally recognized, national, what do I say? How do I say it? Where you get your hair cut. I don't want to say salon, or I don't want to say beauty shop and mess it up, but it is a nationally known place to get your hair done for men and women. So they donate to this program yearly. This is another fund that also is always underfunded, because we always give out grants to the families. and our veterans. So these are all of these programs so far are listed on vfw.org, and the forms to request them, so you know, we'll be able to apply and send back in, and they will be given information on whether they received the grant or not. The last slide, please, I believe. National Community Outreach. Now, this outreach program, we experienced a huge influx during COVID. We had VFW members volunteering at food drives, food pantries. A lot of our VFW posts were closed during the pandemic or during the lockdowns, but they still managed to get out enough food and volunteer hours to assist anyone. Now, these programs that we did during the lockdowns were not just limited to VFW members or veterans. We helped the entire community. We would raise outreach. We would deliver food to those needy who couldn't get out and do it themselves. National VFW has pushed our community outreach programs to assist anyone that we possibly can within our communities. Now, each of us post homes. I currently have a post home in Canoga Park, California. We reached out throughout Canoga Park, West Hills, Calabasas, if you're familiar with California, and in the local area here, to see what we can do. We partnered with the Women's Club here and the local food pantry, and volunteered hours, delivered groceries, and raised money. Members would send money into, I'm the quartermaster, I would get the mail and I would work here and then go purchase the food that we would drop off at the pantries. That was an outstanding program that we going to continue to always those members in our community that need just a little bit of help. So I'm available. You may have of the 4 slides that I just brought up. These are just for the programs that the VFW assists VFW and veterans, along with our community. We have many more other programs, and I ask all of you to go on vfw.org and look at the different programs that we have that for community and for our veterans. Thank you, Q. Did I say that right, Mr. Lee?
Yes, you did.
Thank you for this and this opportunity to speak to all of you.
Yes, thank you, Martin. And really great opportunities with the VFW. I'm actually looking forward to becoming a member myself. So I think that's really great information. And again, a lot of really great opportunities. And thank you for joining us and sharing this information. Okay, so next up, we have Julie Baumgartner with the Volunteers of America, Northern California and Northern Nevada.
Oh, thank you, Q. And thank you to all of you for being here and attending this wonderful resource here. My name is Julie Baumgartner. I am the director with Volunteers of America Veterans Services for Northern California and Northern Nevada. Just to let everyone know, everyone thinks that we're volunteers, but no, we're actually all paid staff. It is called Volunteers of America. It is a nationwide program, and we're all based off of grants. We do service in our program here, as you can see, Sacramento, El Dorado, Placer, Yolo, Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Next slide, please. And we are, for the housing portion, we do both housing and employment. For the housing, we are funded by the Department of VA. And that provides, what we do is we provide supportive services for very low income veteran families. And we help those that are homeless and also those that what we call prevention of homelessness. One thing a lot of people forget, that when they talk about homelessness, they all look at homeless as those that maybe are on the streets, you know, looking at a handout or holding up these signs or having mental or some type of addiction problems. But the term homelessness is someone that doesn't have a permanent roof over their head every night that they go to bed. So you could have someone staying with you right now who's couch surfing. That term is also homeless. Someone that's staying with you temporarily until they find their own place, they are considered homeless. So it's not necessarily those that are on the streets for that term homeless. But what we provide is for those that are eligible, we do outreach, case management. We also assist them with VA and other benefits. So like CalVet, we'll refer out, if they're needing medical, we refer out to the VA. And so these are some of the things that we do provide, which is the housing assistance. We do childcare, peer support services, and of course, we do resource and referrals. Go ahead, Q.
I'm sorry, go, yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What we do, rapid rehousing, those are for our homeless veterans. What we want to do is we want to rapidly rehouse them. And for preventing homelessness, those that are already housed, we want to prevent them from becoming homeless. So those are the two areas that we work with our veterans. We do play a critical role into ending homelessness among our veterans. And we also want to make sure that we, also provide housing stability. Now, you hear that everyone talk about, we're going to end homeless. We're going to make sure it's zero homelessness. And, you'll have a couple of those that just don't want to be housed. But we're doing our best to try and get every single person or every single veteran off of the streets and into permanent housing. And then, of course, our homeless prevention, as I mentioned, we assist with rental arrears. Next slide. So how we do this is, again, it is income-based. For the housing, it is income-based. Once they are accepted, and let me back up a little bit. Once it's income-based, and they have to have served at least 1 day of active duty. Once you're accepted into the program, and we help you find a place through our case management, our housing specialist, we pay the deposit as well as a first month's rent for our veteran to move into an apartment or into a house. Now, depending on the size of your family, and the family or household can be you and your brother, you and your sister, you and your mom, dad, it could be you and your best friend. That is considered a household. When it comes to a household, we do take in consideration the entire household income. So that you got to be kind of careful. But if you're with mom or dad, and mom and dad really only is on a strict income, and you may not have any income at all coming in, you may qualify because it's a family of 3. So we do take in consideration all of that. Homeless prevention, maybe you have an apartment or a home, but you cannot own your own home. You have to have a rent. And you are behind a month or 2 months. You get that 3-day notice or you get that 30-day notice. What you do, and you qualify for our program, we will go ahead and pay for those arrears, and want to make sure that starting next month, you're able to go ahead and pay your following month's rent. So we will work with you to see how you're able to sustain yourself moving forward once we get you caught up. Maybe you are behind on your utilities. Maybe you're needing food or other items that we are allowed through our grant. And again, it's federal grants, so our hands are tied to what we can and can't do. We will assist you with that as well. And I've already mentioned income-based. These are for those veterans that, again, have served at least 1 day of active duty. Now, when it comes to a family member, the veteran has to be present during this time for services for our housing program. When it comes to our Csbg grant, which is a community service block grant, not only is it veterans, but it also involves our guard, our reservists, and now it can be a family member of our service member. So you do not have to have served 1 day of active duty under the CSB block grant. There are income requirements. So for example, if it's, let's say a spouse that comes in or a widow of a veteran, and that person makes, let's say $1,000, $1,020, that would qualify, one of the qualifications. But then they also have to show something that basically states that they are a spouse of that veteran, or bring something in, a death certificate proving that that was their spouse. Okay, we're not going to take someone's word for it. If you're a guard or reservist, you just show your discharge status on that, or show your ID card. It is, again, income based. We help with rental arrears. We help buy groceries, gas in the vehicle. We can go ahead and, if you don't have a vehicle and need transportation, we can go ahead and do a Connect card or bus passes. And that's on our regular side. Now, if you're affected by COVID in any way, so for example, maybe you came down with COVID and it prevented you from working and making money. Maybe you had a family member who had COVID and you had to help take care of them. Maybe the business shut down for a while, so you lost money, or anything to do with COVID related. That now the income goes higher on the percentage of the poverty income. So for one person, from, as I mentioned earlier, a little over 1,000, now it goes 200%. So if you make less than $2,100 a month, you are now eligible for the higher grant for this CSBG, or Community Service Block Grant. And again, Guard, reserves, family members, and veterans are eligible for that CSBG grant. Okay, next slide, please. Now we're going into the next portion of our program, which is the employment program. This is funded by the Department of Labor. Next slide. And here you need to be, again, 1 day active duty, have served at least 1 day of active duty, homeless or at risk. We accept all except for dishonorable discharge. Now, because of the way of the pandemic is going, we did require DD 214, and I'll explain to you why on that. But at this time, we use a program called Squares to verify your eligibility status. We don't have to have a DD 214. The purpose of that is, one, verifying your eligibility, and two, let's say we do get you place you into employment, and let's say you go into construction and you need boots, you need all these tools, you need transportation, you need hard hats, special gloves. We can purchase all of those items for you to get you going on day one. But without verification, or without that DD 214, we wouldn't be able to assist you as far as financially. In the HVRP, or Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program, there are no income restrictions. You could be making $5,000 a month on your day job. You come to us and say, look, I want another job. I want another part-time job. We can go ahead and assist you, okay? We also have a Veterans Service Center where we have, I think it's 12 computers that you can come in at any time to use. We are open from 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, except holidays, and it's all free. Next slide. Sorry. This is our Veterans Service Center here. And I said it is open. Now, family members can come in and utilize, but the veteran must be with them as well. We have a clothing closet. So if you come in and wanting a job, we actually have suits that you can go and choose what suits you'd like to have, and they're yours to keep. We have employment resources. We also have a lot of events. We just had a dental event a few months ago where we had dentists come in. This whole building here that you're looking at actually turned into dental offices. Let's see, if you have an event coming up and would like to use the facility, we will go ahead. There's no cost for it as long as it's not being utilized by another organization. Everyone there that we have employed through our veteran service centers are also veterans. In fact, I'm proud to say we just officially, as of today, have received the Hire Vets Medallion for 2 years in a row through the National Department of Labor. And let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh, the other thing that we do, we help you with your resume. We help place you into employment because we do network with employers, and we actually have mock interviews. We do job fairs. We do just about everything that we can do to help place you, not send you links for you to apply, but we actually assist you with it 100%. Next slide. And this is here some of the information. Like I said, employment, we offer employment training services, job counseling, the placement, we do supportive services, and that's what I was talking about, providing you the resources you need to start your job. Certificates and licenses, I think this is great. So let's say you're getting a job in the IT field and you actually need your A+ certification. We will help you pay for that. We just recently, we had an LVN that came in, her license was outdated. We actually helped pay for her to get her license renewed. We help a pilot go ahead and he had to take some classes, and we paid for his pilot license. So there's things that we can do. It all depends on the situation. So if you're looking for any type of employment, come in, give us a call, and we'd be happy to sit down and help you. But what happens if you're a guard or a reservist? It doesn't matter. We may not be able to spend the money on you to buy you the items that you need, but we do work with other community organizations. We will help you with your resume. We will help you with job placement, but we will use other community resources to see if we can purchase those supportive services to help you with boots or whatever other items that you need to help you get you placed into your job. Next slide. And let's see here, our partnerships here. Again, we do mock interviews, custom hiring events. Our job developers do work with employers, and we also do job retention. Okay, next slide. We're also part of vet courts in the 3 counties, Sacramento, Placer, and El Dorado. We do have one person that does attend on these. We do the pretrial hearings. We work directly with the court staff, including the judges. We do work with parole and probation department personnel, and we will work with them all the way through to job placements as well. So we make sure that the veteran who is involved in the courts, we don't want them to violate anything. So we do maintain a very good working relationship, open communication. The other thing is we have a lot of second chance employers that we do work with. So it doesn't matter where the veteran is in their life and what charges they have gotten, we will get them employed one way or another. Okay, next slide. And that's it. And like Hugh said, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. And at the end of our presentations here, we will go ahead and answer it. And I would like to say thank you, everyone, for your service. For all of you that served, thank you very much for your service. I'm married to a retired Marine. I'm Army. And, you know, you have a wonderful week. Q, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Really great information from the Volunteers of America. I love the Veterans Service Center and all the things that they do. It's really kind of fantastic opportunities there. Okay, so next up we have Alyssa Albright with the California Department of Veterans Affairs. Alyssa, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Coop. Good morning, everybody. My name is Alyssa Albright with the California Department of Veterans Affairs with the California Transition Assistance Program. So today I'm just going to talk to you all about some of the state benefits that are available to you as a service member, as a veteran, as a family member. All right, next slide, please. All right, so just a brief overview of who we are and what we do. So we are the transition assistance program for the state side of things. So our mission is to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned federal and state benefits as they go through life. And so with that, or how do we do that? We do that through our 5 different pathways. So we have a core curriculum, which I will be mainly speaking to you about today. Education, employment, entrepreneurship, and service providers. When it does come to employment, as Ku was mentioning earlier with CalHR and all those veteran preference points and just walking you through the state jobs.ca.gov website, contact us. We can definitely help you with that and walk you through how to accomplish meeting and applying to positions with the state of California. Next slide, please. All right, so there are two different main resources for us. We do have a physical resource handbook, and we also have it in a PDF online for you. If you scan the QR code there, it'll come up for you on your cell phone. But this has a ton of resources for service members, veterans, and their families when it comes to benefits. Next slide, please. All right, so I will show you some screenshots of our website, and then I'll go into a little bit to our core curriculum. Next slide, please. All right, so if you just go to calvet.ca.gov, this is our homepage, and if you go to CalTap, there you can just click on that. Next slide, please, and it'll take you to the 5 different pathways that I mentioned to you today. Again, like I said, we'll be talking about our core curriculum. Go ahead, next slide. All right, so specifically California state benefits, that's where it'll take you. And then I will go ahead and just dive right in. All right, so one of the huge benefits of being a veteran and having a disability rating is the college and tuition fee waiver for veteran dependents. So this is, again, if you do have a disability rating, your spouse, or your dependents may be able to go to California Community College, California State University, or a University of California, all the way up to their doctorate tuition free. So there are some stipulations to this, of course, so please feel free to contact us when it comes to the questions that you might have about it. Next slide, please. All right, so the rest of these California benefits that I'm going to be talking about, they're cool little nuances that you can have added to your life. They may not be super life-changing, but they are some cool benefits for veterans. So DMV programs, there's some things that you can get added as a veteran. You can get it added to your license, or say your license plate. And then there's also a fee waiver for registration depending on your disability rating. Next slide, please. Outdoor activities, so just reduced fees for fishing and hunting licenses, as well as state and national parks. Next slide, please. All right, so tax programs, just depending on the county that you're living in, there is a possibility of a tax exemption. So with that, we say reach out to your county tax assessor. As a veteran, you may be entitled to an exemption there. Next slide, please. CalVet Home Loan. So this is another huge program that the Department of Veterans Affairs is a part of, and it is completely different than the VA home loan. You can use this, you can use the CalVet Home Loan in conjunction with the VA home loan. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about that specific home loan. Next slide, please. We have resources available for women and minority veterans. So any type of outreach or resources and distribution lists to be informed of what's going on with those programs, those are available as well. Next slide, please. So there's our minorities. Next slide, please. and then CalVet Homes for Long-Term Care. So we do have 8 locations currently, and this is just for thinking in the future for yourself or maybe some relatives. But there are long-term care facilities for veterans available through CalVet. Next slide, please. And state cemeteries. Well, there are 3 up and down California. Next slide, please. And then just wrapping up here, how to stay connected with us. So if you're interested in some of the things that you heard today and you possibly want to hear more about just resources and webinars that we host for veterans, service members, veterans and their families, you can register for My CalVet on our CalVet website. And at the beginning of each month, you'll be receiving a monthly newsletter that just talks about all the great things that we're doing and our monthly themed webinars and how you can register for those events. Additionally, to stay connected with us, you can add us on Facebook and follow us on any other social media platforms that we have available, and then also attending our webinars. Next slide, please. This is what our newsletter looks like. So if you do sign up through My CalVet, you'll see that we do have a monthly theme for our webinars each month. October was presumptive conditions awareness. So we talked a little bit about disability claims, and we had some specialists come on to talk about that. This month for November, we're talking about the veteran life cycle. So we're talking about from service, separation, post-military life, and aging and retirement. So some very interesting webinar topics if you all are interested in learning about those things. Next slide, please. All right, and there they are. And the last slide is just going to have some contact information. So please feel free to give us a call. That 1-800 number, you will reach a live person, and ask them questions, and you'll be able to ask them questions. And then our email address there, caltap@calvet.ca.gov. Any of the information that you heard today that you would like to hear more about, please feel free to give us a call or email us, and somebody will get back to you. Thank you. Back to you, Q.
Thank you, Alyssa. Really great information from CalVet. We do have a couple of different questions for CalVet, but I'm going to hold them until the very end of the presentation. We have one last one, but not the least. It's the Veterans Affairs National Cemetery Administration with Jennifer. Jennifer, if you're ready, go ahead and take over.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm talking today about the National Cemetery Administration's burial and memorial benefits. Next slide, please. So what I'm going to be talking about today is an overview of the memorial and burial benefits, eligibility, and our pre-need program, and a new program that we started, the Veterans Legacy Memorial. And that's just a new way to remember service veterans and veterans that are buried at one of our VA national cemeteries. Then I'm also going to share some links to resources. Next slide, please. So I'm going to start off with a video. It's a short video that gives an overview of our benefits.
Did you know, whether you choose to be buried in a VA national cemetery or a private cemetery, VA can help? Did you know memorial services at any one of our meticulously maintained VA national cemeteries are provided at no charge to veterans, their spouses, and other eligible family members? Did you know these VA services can save families thousands of dollars? VA provides compassionate professional memorial and burial services to ease families through the loss of their loved one. VA memorial services may include burial in a VA national cemetery, the opening and closing of the gravesite, grave liner, inscribed headstones or markers, a burial flag and presidential memorial certificate, and perpetual care of the gravesite. With new VA national, state, and tribal cemeteries opening soon, almost every veteran will have a burial option within about an hour's drive from home. If your family prefers a private cemetery, VA provides a headstone, marker, or medallion, a burial flag, and a presidential certificate. VA grave sites cannot be reserved. However, veterans and spouses can now apply to determine eligibility at any time. At the time of need, contact a funeral home to arrange burial at a national cemetery. To schedule a burial, fax the DD-214 form or other discharge papers to 866-900-6417 or scan and email to nca.scheduling@va.gov. Then call 800-535-1117 to follow up. VA honors the service and sacrifice of veterans and their family members. To find out more about VA memorial benefits, explore VA today.
Thank you. Okay, so that gives a pretty good overview of our burial and memorial benefits. So something to keep in mind is what we provide is a gravesite at any open VA National Cemetery, the grave liner, opening and closing of the grave, a headstone or marker, and perpetual care of the gravesite. And this is provided at no cost to the veteran or the family. And it includes also for the spouse. So we had a lot of questions about whether spouses are included in this benefit, and they are. Now, regardless, if you're buried at a VA cemetery, you can, you're eligible through your, being military service, through your military service, a headstone or marker at a private cemetery, or even a medallion if you opt to have your own marker made. A burial flag, and a presidential memorial certificate. Sorry about that. Next slide, please. And so with eligibility, it's for majority of our veterans, it's all members of the armed forces and veterans that have met the active duty service requirement and are discharged under conditions other than dishonorable. And that eligibility can get a little nuanced if, say, you're in the National Guard or Reserve, or you didn't do a full term. So if you have any questions about whether you're eligible or not, I would go on the VA website, and we have burials / memorial or - memorials to kind of look at the at all the different eligibility criteria that meet your need. Next slide, please. But if you have any questions on whether you are eligible, I highly recommend that you apply for a pre-need eligibility determination. And this is something that you can do online, or you can do through, submit the paperwork. And the good thing about doing this is that you know exactly what you're eligible for. And your family knows. And what I would recommend is when you apply, you get a letter back. I would leave that with all your important documents, including your will. And, and also include your discharge papers there as well. But if you don't have those discharge papers, if you've done the pre-need, you're already in the system. So that saves your family a step of trying to find those discharge papers. And I don't know if any of you are dealing with that issue right now, but I deal with a lot of families that are trying to get their discharge papers, and there's just a huge backlog, and it's very difficult to get them. But if you do the pre-need program, you're already in the system, and they already have your discharge papers, which is great. Next slide. So this is the link to apply for pre-need. And you do need to, if you and your spouse, if you want a determination for both of you, those are separate applications. So you would need to do one for each of you. If you go to the va.gov website and you scroll down to burials and memorials, that'll take you right to the link to do that. Next slide, please. One exciting program that we have launched, and we've been adding capabilities to it over the last couple of years, is the Veterans Legacy Memorial. And what this is, it's an online database of every veteran and service member that is buried at a VA National Cemetery, and they all have a memorial page. And that allows family and friends and people that served with the veteran or service member to leave a comment, share photos, and those kinds of things. Next slide. And this is what the memorial page looks like. And the family can add, customize it. They can leave photos. They can do biographical information. and all the comments and content is moderated. So if you go in and you leave a comment, it's not going to immediately go online. Someone's going to review that to be sure that it's appropriate based on the rules. And it's just a great way to virtually visit. So if you can't get out the cemetery, especially with COVID, we've been saying, you know, visit virtually. And this is a way to do that. Next slide. And for us, you know, the easiest way to learn more about VA burial and memorial benefits and VA benefits in general is to go to va.gov. And one thing that I wanted to touch on, that questions that I do get from families, is whether we cover the costs. Like, one, do we handle the transportation of you know, someone who has passed away? Do we arrange for transportation to have them cremated or prepared for burial? And the answer to that is no. That's something that the family needs to take care of. So VA is three agencies: the Veterans Hospital Administration, the Veterans Benefit Administration, and the National Cemetery Administration. So we handle all of the care once you get to the cemetery. But VBA would handle reimbursement if that is something that you're eligible for. And that is actually covered in the burial memorial section of the webpage. But some people are confused. They're like, oh, well, I have to bury my dad. Are you going to give me money for that? Or what do I have to apply? And that's an upfront cost to the family. And if you meet a certain criteria, it's very specific and it doesn't apply to everyone. You will get, they have an allowance that they will reimburse you for some of those costs if you meet the criteria. Next slide, please. Today, I spoke about the burial benefits that are available through the National Cemetery Administration. And the VA has a ton of benefits that are for veterans. And I wanted to highlight a resource, and this is it's a new product. It's about a year old. It's the VA Welcome Kit. And this is a wonderful resource because it's comprehensive and they've made it really easy to understand. So if you looked at the new webpage for va.gov, you'll notice that's a lot simpler, has bullets and links on how to apply. This welcome kit is in that same vein. So the web page for that is, it's on va.gov, and then you /welcome-kit. And it's just a wonderful resource. And then the other resource that I wanted to share with you is Planning Your Legacy. This is a booklet. It's 3 years old, and it doesn't have in there about applying online. So, applying online for pre-need. But it's a great resource in terms of how to fill out forms, explains a lot of the criteria for the reimbursement piece, and it has samples of all of the forms to fill out for your headstone, if you're going to do private marker at a cemetery, and all of that. And that's available online as well. And if you have any questions, if you want to go to the next slide, please, Q. Please send me an email or give me a phone call. I'd be happy to help you. And back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. That's some really fantastic information from the National Cemetery Administration. I know our last webinar, we had a ton of questions, and we actually have 2 more questions, which brings us into our questions and answer session. So I'm just going to take these from the top as we receive them, and then just kind of go down. I don't know if Martin's here, but there was a question for the VFW. Can children of military members apply for the Unmet Needs Program? I'll wait till Martin comes back, see if he can answer that. Otherwise, if he doesn't make it back, I can always email the question to him, and we will post the answer up on our webpage. There's another question from the Volunteers of America. For the Volunteers of America, is the income based on the whole household, family member, friend, or just the military member?
It's based off the entire adult household. If they're coming in as a as a household.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We did have a question about, 1 second here. They wanted to see the QR code again for the CalVet brochure. Here it is. So I'm going to leave this up on the screen for a couple minutes. So the individuals can get a link to this great resource book. So we have a question here from Michelle. Do you have to be 100% disabled to qualify for CalVet benefits?
No, you do not have to be 100%. It'll vary on the spectrum of if you're 0% or 100%, the things that you are able to receive. A great place to start would be the County Veteran Service Office if you do not have a disability claim. Another great place to look would be that Veterans Resource Book. It has information on what's the details on certain percentages for disability claims and what one's entitled to. I've also pasted in the chat, I believe I pasted some information on our website, our email address, and I'll put the PDF of the resource book in there as well, just so people have that.
Great. Thank you so much, Alyssa. Okay, so we do have another question. Do veterans' legacy help with last wills? So Jennifer, this might be for you.
We don't do wills, but VBA, I think, does do some assistance with that. Another part of, or VHA, another part of VA may assist with wills, but in particular, the National Cemetery Administration does not.
Okay. There was a question that was submitted earlier before the webinar started. I know you said that the cremations are not handled by the National Cemeteries Administration, but I think it was is cremations covered by anything that the VA offers, something like that?
Well, cremation now, it depending on, there's reimbursement for cremations and a casket and reimbursement and reimbursement for like funeral preparation, but that's still the family's responsibility to pay up front and then submit receipts and make a claim, and there's a cap on the allowance. So that's something I would recommend going to the website and looking at that criteria to see if your circumstances meet that, because it's very specific and it's handled through and you make the claim through the Veterans Benefit Administration. So that's not something that's part of our agency. Okay.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, I think the VBA might be the best place to start to get more information about cremation services. So we do have another question. Do you have to be 100% to receive dependent, which is spouse children tuition waiver for US and CSU system up to doctorate? This might be, I want to say this might be a VFW question, maybe, is it?
It's a CalVet, CalTap question. For that one, so for that one, it's as low, it's as 0%, as low as a 0%, you would be able to, your dependents children would be able to partake in that fee waiver. There are some stipulations when it comes to the spouse, so I would definitely say reach out to us or take a look at that resource handbook to see the stipulations for that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alyssa. And then we have, I know we're right up at noon, and I just want to address some of the questions. There's a lot of questions that were submitted during the registration period. Questions about housing programs to veterans, which I think Julie covered pretty much well. I would say, get with the Volunteers of America and the Veterans Service Center for more information about housing programs. There was questions about assistance with the GI Bill, and I think your county Veterans Resource Center, resource office is kind of the really good place to start. Also, CalVet is probably a great place to get more information or assistance with using your GI Bill. And also questions about VA home buyers. I know CalVet has the CalVet loan in addition to the VA loan. Again, contact CalVet. They can give you some more information about that. And then I think here someone's asking for contact info for resources in specific areas or counties. We should probably try to develop a list. Maybe there is a list of like local veteran resources. I'll look it up and see if we can link to it on our webpage. Go ahead, Alyssa.
That individual that messaged that in, we actually do have something available for the different, we have different sections within California that we have local interagency network coordinators that are specific to regions. So if that person wants to shoot us an email, I can get you in contact with the person that's in charge, that's in your county. Also, I'll put in the chat, CalVet Home Loans, the individual to contact for that. He's great. His name is Brad Penderson, and he is a wealth of knowledge. And give him a call, shoot him an email. He will get right back to you about CalVet Home Loans. And he will be honest with you if it's something he feels that is for you, or if it's he thinks you should go outside of CalVet Home Loans. So I'll put that information in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Alyssa. That's super helpful. And I think, like I said, we're right at noon, so that's right at the end of our presentation. Again, such a great panel. Oh, yes, Julie, go ahead.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with any of this, but I just want to bring out that on Saturday, there's going to be a stand down event. So if anyone that's listening right now that is in need of winter gear, in other words, you might be in a homeless situation at this time, they're giving away DOD issued winter items, sleeping bags, comfort kits. The VA may be also doing COVID and VA shots. And that's going to be at the Sacramento Stand Down Warehouse at 5931 Recreation Way in Koo. I will send this flyer out to you that you can go ahead and send to those that registered. I just want to get that out for those that may be in this situation.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that information, Julie. And yes, I will send it out to everybody who registered. I'll also make that link, that content available on our webpage so people can go back and reference it. So with that, I think I want to say thank you, everyone. Thank you, veterans. Thank you, military service members. I have friends who are still serving. I have lots of friends who are veterans. Have a happy Veterans Day tomorrow. Go out there. There's lots of really great freebies for veterans. Take advantage of it. You've all earned it. I'll be donating blood tomorrow. There's a couple of places that are having blood drives. Go out there, donate blood if you can. And thank you everyone for attending. I want to thank all the great panelists for joining and also providing some fantastic information to support our veterans. And thank you everyone. Have a great Veterans Day and weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.